Okay, Mabyn's week 1 part 2 continued on her drills. Now that was just goofy. That's just being a young dog. I don't think there's anything he did handling really there. I mean, I guess you could have been slightly more stronger Q with your dog side toe, but she should have done that. Sometimes dogs are just dogs, just like all of us. Sometimes I think have we all have little brain farts sometimes, but that was excellent. So otherwise, that was excellent in your second one there with wrapping that second jump. Okay. So what you are doing here is kind of a cross between a lead out pivot and a lead out push. You're kind of mixing up the two, and I think that might be causing some of this issue. So I know that Bad Dog Agility's VIP is opened up right now. I think maybe just like, I think it might close in like a day or two. But if you do go there, they have a lot of resources. Well, they have some resources on the difference between the two at least. We can talk about that otherwise. I don't do a lot of lead out pushes. But see how you're facing with your arm here and you're facing her like this? In a lead out push, you would typically do what you're doing here where you're facing the dog. To do it right, you would really do it right here at this wing. And the reason we do that is to control this turn. With a lead out pivot, which is what I demonstrate in this video, go back and watch the video. Some of our video demos, they're not all perfect. I'm the very first one to admit they're not all perfect and when we made them under crunch time. But this one is not bad. It's pretty good, and you can clearly see the difference. So in a lead out pivot, you would be turned 180 degrees. You would be facing this direction. And so that would put this foot and the far arm as your dog side arm holding out to take this, as if you were running with her. No different as if you were going to be running with her like this and she was going to be going like this and you'd be running parallel paths, right? So that's how we start out with that lead out pivot. Another way, the lead out pivot is a front cross. And it goes, and so if we were going to be running with her and doing a front cross, then we would go from this wing to this wing, right? Like that would be our path. But we do it, we pivot, it's called a lead out pivot versus a lead out front cross. I guess you could call it a lead out front cross because you position yourself at the end. You lead out to the end of where your front cross line would be, but you still pivot. That's the whole point of it. And you're not, so I do here, and then when we go, I spin and do my cross to take this jump. And what that does is that gives a much more clear turning cue. And I think if you were to do that, you would get a much better result here. Because this right here is kind of a little bit more ambiguous. Again, if you're going to do it like this, then it should be right here at that wing controlling the turn and then going. If you are not joining that, then I can give you some more resources. Let me know, and I'll give you some more resources on the lead out push, which is what you're doing, but from a distance. So it's just not as strong of a turning cue. See how? So what happens is you're only turning a quarter of a turn. If you watch my video where I'm doing a full lead out pivot, I'm turning all the way around like a front cross. And yours is just not nearly as strong of a turning cue. I think she just glances at the camera there. Your handling is excellent. Your handling, your reconnection, your blind cross right there is beautiful. It's excellent. I think she just looked at the camera. This is all good. Like to see you experiment a little bit more with the table. Just like with the tunnel sends, which I mentioned in the other drill, I'd like to see you just, experiment with this when you can. Excellent teeter. She rides it down very strong, confident. That is an excellent send right there. Love that. And a beautiful blind cross to finish it. That was a really, really nicely executed sequence. I think you guys both did a great job on that sequence. Okay, so again, we're doing it so how you're cheating. And maybe almost instinctively you're cheating a little bit that way, like a step from where you were before. So you do get her that time to do better, but I kind of think it's more of a pattern recognition because she knows that's what the pattern's going to be. Okay, so on the rear cross, I think you could make a much... So this is also what I was mentioning earlier. I mentioned on the last video about I don't think she's crystal clear on her rear cross verbals, and it takes a long time to really get verbals as good as we think they should be. So I don't think the rear cross verbal is that clear, and also physically, then the handling it could be more clear. So if you came up and made a stronger pivot, I think that would help with her rear crosses. I think she's going to need that with her rear crosses. A much stronger decel pivot here. Your line is much softer. See how you're much more soft and gradual there? I would be much stronger with this signal to tell her that she's turning to get that rear cross. I mean, eventually you should be able to get to where you just were. But I think at this point right now, she needs a stronger signal. That is a stronger signal right there. That right there was stronger, and you're able to get it. Good job. Excellent work on this whole sequence. More work on your verbals. And let me know about the lead out pivot versus lead out push. But first thing, go back and watch the video again on this, the demonstration video, and you can clearly see at least the difference between my lead out pivot, where I'm facing 180 degrees, completely opposite of you to start, and pivot spinning around like that. I think that would be a really good thing for you to practice more right off the bat. But then on the other thing, the lead out push, which you were doing, but from a distance, let me know if you are not going to do the Bad Dog VIP, then I will try to give you some more info on that.